Welcome to Sidekicks with Heather Goodenkopf and Lolo, where we chat with your favorite authors and their pets. And I'm so excited. Today we have Emily Carpenter, the best-selling author of 5 novels, including her highly anticipated, upcoming Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters, which is coming on October 20th. Thank you, Emily, so much for being here today.
I'm so happy to be here. I love this idea.
Oh, good. Good, good. Tell us about your sidekicks. I think you have 2 of them there today.
I do. And they're, ideally, I'd love to create a picture of family harmony, but one of them just growled at the other one.
Sure.
So I have a sweet Sadie here, who's a Brittany Spaniel, who's chilling. And my other not so chill dog is Tito, the Morkie. He's a Maltese Yorkie mix, and he's a little scrappy. He's got the little guy syndrome.
They're just
anyway.
like siblings, right? They've got a little bit of
yeah, I always look at those videos on Twitter of like the dog and the cat snuggling and petting each other, and I'm like, that is not those are not my children.
How did they come into your life?
So they're both fairly old. Sadie is 13, and my husband is a hunter. He's a bird hunter, and she's a quail hunting dog. So we actually found her at a breeder, but she was the runt of the litter, and she was the next to the last puppy left. And we just all adored her, and she's very loving. And it turns out she's retired now. She doesn't hunt anymore, but when she was hunting, she was the best. She had the best nose. She always found the birds. Very competitive girl. And it just turned out to be one of the best dogs that the quail hunting operation had ever seen.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. Lolo's a hunter too. She hunts pheasant. Really? Yeah, she hunts pheasant. And but also the same. She is just kind of was the baby of the litter, and she is such a lovey little thing. So she loves the great outdoors, but she loves being inside too.
Yes. Does she point?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Sadie too. Yeah.
So much fun. Yeah.
Now she just lies on the sofa. She's tired. She's
earned her rest. She's earned her rest for sure. So, well, I imagine now that Sadie's favorite pastime is laying on the couch. How about your other dog, Tito?
Well, Tito he's not much of a job dog. He's more while Sadie is like the loving influence of the family, and she's a snuggler. Tito is definitely more of a troublemaker. But he's a good guard dog. He barks at anything and everything, but he's not a biter. So I always feel like kind of the perfect combination. Something he loves to do. So we live out on some property, not really in the country, but we do have a lot of deer. Mm-hmm. And he sees the deer and is like, I must take out after them and defend the property. And he'll run out there, and they'll kind of prance away from him and circle back around and finish eating our flowers.
He can make a lot of noise though, and tell them what.
Oh yeah. Oh, this guy, he's indomitable. He's got a lot of heart. Yeah. So.
And, we're writers. We sit behind the keyboard a lot for, great lengths of time. How do your pets contribute to your writing life? In what way?
I was thinking about that, and I was kind of thinking it in line with like different pets that I've identified with in literature. And I realized, like, as a girl growing up, mostly I always identified with horses that I was a horse girl. So like I loved Misty of Chincoteague and National Velvet and like any kind of horse story. So I wasn't a huge one on dogs, but I feel like just that element in a story, while it might not always be my first instinct, I feel like they've kind of opened up me to including animals in my stories, because I will say, I mean, I live in the suburbs. I don't have a horse. I never got a horse. I don't have chickens. I don't, but I definitely like to include that in my books. Sometimes it comes out in like a scary way with like, I had a friend that said, you're so scared of nature and animals. And I'm like, well, maybe that's because I'm a city girl and really I'm used to just, oh, like, pay attention to me.
I don't know what she's doing. I think that's because we have a pocket full of treats.
Like, I know what's in there. But I will say too that they break up my writing day. If you're like focused in a scene and you're writing, they have needs. I mean, they need to go out. They need to go for a walk. They see the deer and have to bark. And I feel like actually that's a good break that pulls you into, the moment.
Yes. So. Yeah, same here. Now I have to say I loved the Misty book too, but I could never pronounce the second half of that title.
Oh, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I'm sure you are. It's like I'm sure you are. And it's like, that was, I remember stumbling over the name of that.
I just know, like in my second book, I had, it was set on a Georgia sea island. And so I included wild horses because they are there. And it brought me back.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Great. What about a favorite sidekick duo from pop culture, TV or movies or?
Well, this guy's like less of a sidekick and more of a main character, but I grew up with all the Benji movies.
Oh yeah, me too.
You remember those?
Oh my gosh, yeah, those were the best.
Loved them, and was kind of obsessed with just following. And there was no like animation, and the dog didn't talk. Nothing. It was just simply like Benji had to get from point A to point B. He had to get home, and he had all these adventures. And I was obsessed with Benji.
Me too. Are those on Disney Plus? I wonder if they are. I wonder.
That's a good idea. That would be a very
go search that. We might have to Twitter watch that together sometime.
Yes. Benji has to steal a hot dog off someone's bill.
Everybody's Twitter watching Hamilton.
We'll Twitter watch Benji.
Okay, now we have to do it. We have to find that movie and do it. Okay, so we'll have a date with doing that. So yeah. Oh my gosh. So what are you reading right now? What's on your bedside table?
I am a person that starts books and then like gets distracted and starts another book, and I eventually finish them all, but so I'm in the middle of Blacktop Wasteland by
S.A. Great things about that,
and Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman, which I've read before. But
are you a big rereader? Do you like to reread books?
I don't, other than like I have this one childhood book that I reread almost every year because I think it's like a security blanket for me. It's called Nancy and Plum by Betty McDonald. She wrote the Mrs. Pigglewiggle book.
Yeah.
And it's just delightful and short and funny. But no, like I typically don't reread books. Oh, and I don't really rewatch movies either unless they're like
really good.
Yeah,
really
a top
like Benji.
Like a top, except for Benji. Oh God.
So you have a big book coming out really soon, Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters is not necessarily a sequel. It's kind of, we're calling it a follow-up book to my first novel, Burying the Honeysuckle Girls. And it is about a woman who, so her grandmother was this famous tent evangelist, faith healer type person and made a lot of money. So the granddaughter is now running this family foundation. And she comes down to Alabama to an opening event and learns in a very dramatic way that her grandmother might have not only been a con woman and a thief, but possibly a murderer.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so she has 3 days to sort of uncover the true story of her grandmother and what she did and how she kind of hurt these people, or like her whole family reputation and the foundation are going to be trashed.
Oh,
So
boy.
yeah,
Well, it sounds fabulous. So that comes out October 20th,
yes,
correct? Okay,
yes.
so we'll be looking for that for sure. Uh,
Yes.
if Sadie and Tito were to describe you in a phrase or 3 words, what might they say? Hard.
Sadie would say the best mother.
Ah, good old Sadie.
Tito would say gives me treats.
Oh, sure. Well, he knows what it's all about, right?
Yeah. Tito's he's a utilitarian type of guy.
Very fun. Very fun. Okay, this is the tough one. People have a tough time with this one, but if your pets had a theme song, what might that be?
Okay, I just to give away like insider, I did have this question beforehand,
Oh, you
and
did?
I literally tried to come up with a song, and this is the craziest thing. Nobody's even going to know what this song is because it's not a song. It's actually a soundtrack. It's the theme music from Get Shorty.
Oh,
And it's not a joke, but for years, ever since I heard, it's very like peppy and jazzy, and because it's about like some troublemakers and loan sharks and whatnot. But it's very sort of getting into trouble music.
okay.
And I just, from the time I ever heard that music, I pictured my dogs like tooling around the neighborhood, like looking for trouble. But it's not really a song that anybody knows. You will literally have to like deep dive into Spotify and
Okay.
look up the Get Shorty theme music. But it's fantastic.
Okay. I'm going to find a way to incorporate that into this somehow. I don't know how because I'm not that techy.
You have mad editing skills. You could.
Somehow we're going to figure that out. So that's great. That is so great. Well, Emily Carpenter, thank you so much for being with us today. And we can't wait for Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters coming out October 20th. And thanks so much to Tito, Sadie, and to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. It was fun. Oh, there she is. She sees something out there.